Hey guys, just want to let you know about the new website, Aspect of the Hunter. If you want to find the latest pet, transmog, or anything else WoW related, head on over to Aspect of the Hunter. It's the home for all us hunters.
Hey, what's up guys, Ravenclaw here and welcome to a keybinding guide. Now, this was requested by Bree in a Facebook group that I'm a part of. It's all about hunters and hunter life and all that other cool stuff. I'll link that down below. Just go check it out. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to talk about how I like to keybind my stuff, but more importantly, sort of an idea of how to keep things together. My keybinding is pretty all over the place at the moment, so I'm in the middle of changing it all up, but the way it stands at the moment, there's two types of sort of keybinders. There's ones that will keybind everything to just their keyboard and use their mouse just for moving around. And other ones like me would have like a Razer Naga and keybind some abilities to the mouse and the rest to the keyboard. Now, the first thing I want to say is get yourself the add-on Bartender, which I will link down below. The reason why is because Bartender allows you to get rid of the default look and sort of change it up to make it look nice. And before you post a comment down below, right, and I know you will because I get it all the time, is these Diablo orbs are an add-on called, where is it? This one, Mistra's Diablo orbs. And yes, I will have that down below so you all can get it. Not being mean, just saying everyone keeps asking for these orbs. Alright, so moving on. Another reason why I like Bartender, so if you go into the thing and go Bartender, so BT down in the chat bar there, /BT, you can go up here to Keybinds, and you just click it, and what this allows you to do is just, once you get yourself set up, you can just hover over where you want to put your main abilities, bits and pieces and so on, and just literally click what button you want to bind to it. It's so easy, it's just awesome. Okay, so for the hunter, the first thing I want to talk about is the first bars here. This one here is all bound to my Razer Naga from button 1 to 12. The reason why is because I've always sort of played like that. I've always played with a Razer Naga, and some of you might know my PvP videos because I use my mouse to move, is when I get into like sort of a heated battle and I'm starting to press buttons, my screen will shake a little bit. That's why I sort of want to move on to the sort of keyboard binding scenario. But that's what I have at the moment. Okay, so my middle ones here, these top three here are more of like a placeholder, because what I'm doing is when I hold, this is my shift area up the top here, so when I hold shift, this targets myself and this will target my other player. I do this for my healers, and I haven't changed it for my hunter yet. I'll probably leave it like that anyway. This gives me my pets and everything like that, so I don't need to move them all. The middle here is shift, what is it? Shift 4, 6, and 7. And no way you're saying why you're doing that, because of the way that the mouse is set up. The 5 key once you hold shift doesn't work. Don't know, don't ask, that's just how it is. So this is on the Naga, when you hold shift it's 4, this one is 6, and this one is 7. Okay, it's just the way I'm used to it now. Down here are my alts. So when I hold alt, this is 1, 2, 3, and this is 4, 5, 6. I usually put my raw sacrifice from me and my other 2 party members, and my freedom down here when I'm running survival. Okay, so over here, these are my kicks. Now I bound my kicks to E and Q. Reason why is because they're right next to the WASD key, and I've always found that all the classes have abilities that are very similar, and the way that I set up my keybinds, I can just basically look for abilities that are similar. For example, when you're playing, say, a druid, you put barkskin, and I've got turtle on the number 3 key. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at, like very similar abilities. That way your muscle memory is all the same and you don't have to go looking for everything. That's just me. Okay, so these are my kicks. Down here, I actually use my mouse wheel. So this is my mouse wheel down and the mouse wheel up. So mouse wheel down for my trap. The reason why is because when I'm moving around, right, and I'm about to go and like say trap a target, now if I hold shift, I can just drop the trap here by mouse wheeling down. I don't have to move my finger off the keyboard, off the mouse or anything like that. It's just easier that way. Now mouse wheel up for the hunter is my multi-shot. It's just great when I'm in the middle of like fighting and stuff like that. Like especially if I'm doing a raid. Oh, by the way guys, you'll notice that the new planet's there because I finally have just bitten the bullet, and I've paired up in my bros guild, and we're doing the tomb now. So we took through normal, cleared that, and hopefully next week they'll take me into heroic, so then I can start showing you bits and pieces and more PvE content. I know you all keep asking me for that. Okay, so that's what I do with those two. Down here, all I've got around here really is this here. I bound my S key, right? So my S key now is my pet heal, just because I never walk backwards. So I may as well put something there, and it's just easy, especially when you're in the middle of arena and your pets are getting rotted down. You've just got it right between the main movement keys, and yeah, I mean, I'm always hitting it, especially if you need to get a res off in the middle of a battle. You can you just don't have to look for it. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Now these three here, this is my 1, 2, and 3 key. The concept here is to try and keep everything around the movement keys, so that way I don't have to look too far. Don't even have to, you know, look at all really. Those of you that like to click, I feel like it's entirely you do you, right? But the reason why keybinding is so important, it just takes your eyes off the spells and onto the fight. Like with PvE, it's more like focusing on the mechanics, making sure you keep that right. And PvP, it's all about watching the fight, watching out the situations without having to look where the spells are on your screen. Okay. Now there's two other ones that I use. Now these two, which is Z and X, which is underneath my movement keys. Z is key bound to my pet attack, and my X key is my follow. So if I'm especially in the raid last night, there was a hunter that the pet actually went and pulled another mob because they're still active from a fight, and if you switch targets, sometimes they can actually go and attack them. So it's good to have that bound, so that way you control your pets without having to pull unwanted mobs. Or especially if in arena you want to, say, get a camo off, you can just, you know, have the clicks there. It's just easier, and that's how I've always sort of found it. Those are pretty much all my main keys. Now, to switch it up, if you don't have a Razer Naga and you want to sort of keep everything on your keyboard, another thing that I'm looking at doing, one, I'm using the Razer Chroma keyboard. I've got a Razer theme going on. I want to get a keyboard where the F1 to 1 to 4 keys are lined up with the number keys. At the moment, mine's actually quite far off. Get yourself a keyboard that they line up, because reason why is if you're okay with, like, you're moving around and you're not really too worried about the, you know, where things are on the keyboard, you can then utilize those 10 keys, because they're basically on top of each other, right? So then what you could do is you could then bind your main abilities to your F1 to 5, then 1 to 5 on your number pad just below, and then move down the board. I don't really do that. I don't know why. I guess it's just having... Everybody's different, and I'm more the kind of guy that liked everything on my mouse, but I will transition over because I want to stop this. The beauty of having this Bartender, it just makes everything nice and neat and easy to use. I'll quickly just show you. Right, so if you get Bartender, you want to set up your bars. They'll actually label them. When you go to lock, it'll actually label the bars that you're using. So that way you can go in here, enable or disable the bar. And I suggest you go through here, look at all the bits and pieces, get a feel for it. And then once you're all done, go to your next character, and then you can simply go down to profiles, you can go to copy from, and then click on the character you just set up, and it will simply transfer to every single one, key bindings and everything. So as for key bindings, that's pretty much all I use. If you'd like to know anything else in particular, maybe I've missed something, or what do I do for such and such, then by all means let me know. Just before we move any further, you can reduce the amount of bars that you have by macroing abilities. So for example, real quick before we go, is if you go to macros, right? And you could simply go here. So for example, let's say aspect of the cheetah and binding shot. They're in a similar position by if I press the 4 key, or if I shift 4, they are the two there. What you can do is you can simply go in here, type cast mod shift aspect of the cheetah, then semicolon, binding shot. What that'll say is when I hold shift, right, it will it'll be aspect of the cheetah, and when I'm not holding shift, it'll be binding shot. That's just another sort of way to remove all the clutter from your screen if you really wanted to just condense it right down. Other than that, there's nothing else to it. The biggest thing is try and keep everything close together so you reduce the amount of time you have to take off the fight to look for an ability. That's a huge thing. And if you can sort of get used to it, it's a learning curve. Sort of train your body to get used to it, and I'm sort of doing that now, especially with my healers, without having to click targets and stuff. I'm sort of just now keybound my target switching and all that other cool stuff. But yeah, guys, I hope this has helped. I hope this answers some of your questions. This was more of like an on-the-fly thing because I got asked about this today. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a like. Let me know if you want some more of these more technical guides or anything like this sort of thing. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys, because we have such an awesome community, and man, I love you all. And until next time, you amazing people of YouTube, keep on sniping, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.